So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chain Gang. Yes, I'm back. The dog is fixed. The trail dog is now in one piece. Well, minus a little bit of bone, but you know, we can deal with that. So thank you everybody who asked. Yeah, he's all good. We are looking forward to what's going to be an exciting chain gang. There was record numbers at Innsbruck Ring. I've got to say a big thank you to Tim for getting the stream out there. But back here at Innsbruck Ring for what is going to be 36 kilometres of a really good fun. Watching all these riders as they make their way around the circuit, including the leg snapper climb and the sprints as well. There are due to be well over 100 riders on circuit again. We're going to see if that's going to be the case, whether we'll make 155 that we saw at London. Not so sure about that. I'm all ready to go. Hats on because I've got proper lockdown hair at the moment. Thank you, Halo, for this. And I know Ali Akers got hers. Saw pictures of that on the Facebook page. Going to see if she's going to be wearing that again soon. Fueled up, ready to go because, of course, I have my OTE. And, of course, in blazoned with A up, as you'd expect for a true Yorkshireman. So, this is going to keep me fueled on the way round along with some Grand Tour coffee in my very own polka dot jersey cup. This is from when I actually could go uphill rather than downhill. So we're going to catch up with Russ and let's see what Russ has got planned for this evening's meetup. Always an entertaining moment this with Russ, and whether we're going to see whether we're going to get him in one piece. So here we go. Now then, Russ, how are you doing? It is a bit warm, isn't it? We're just having a minor tech sound because you're really quiet today for some reason.
Yeah, it's a bit muggy, but we'll be right.
Indeed. And I'm hoping that you're all ready to roll. What's the plan for this evening?
I don't know. I'm pretty gassed actually. I wish someone else would take over and tell me what to do. But joking apart, we've got the Innsbruck circuit here again, which a lot of people are tending to favour. They like the little leg snapper. But yeah, we've bringing everyone back. There's a few guys in the chat saying they've done it before, but not with the Donny gang, so they're looking forward to it. So I think one lap's like 8.8k with a couple of 100 metres running. So probably going to try and do one lap easy, and then see what happens. See if we can control the herd.
So the aim is to get round one full lap. So regroup at the top of leg snapper, roll through as one group through the sprint, back underneath the UCI banner, and then it's going to start getting wound up.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few people getting wound up, but that's what the Donny gang's doing. And but no, I think it's creeping up. You know, a lovely warm night. I thought the rain was going to come again, so people are flooding, but we've got 90 people on now. I think we'll top over 100 again, which is great, you know.
And on a tough circuit as well. It's not easy, is it, Innsbruck?
No, it's a great circuit. The little climb there is quite tough, and we've seen from the footage, if you don't squeeze over the top, then you quite easily got dropped and you've got a lot of work then to do. And then if you sprint after the leg snapper as well, then it's game over and the legs do actually snap.
Well, we'll soon see, won't we? So hopefully it's all going to go to plan. I'm going to let you get warmed up because I know at the moment heart rate's ticking along about 94 beats per minute by the look of this, and just ticking the legs around about 84 revs a minute. So we'll be keeping an eye on you.
I'm warming up, mate. I don't need any more warming up.
Excellent.
Steady hour and a half this morning, and just done 20-minute warm up. So just answering queries actually. People still wanting to join the Facebook group like 10 minutes to go. It's like, well, you better find the links, man. I'm not sending you those as well.
Yeah, it pays to be on early, that's for sure. The experienced hands were on with about 20 minutes to go, I noticed today. So it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on and see how we go. Well, good luck, Russ, and we'll enjoy watching. Cheers, mate. So great to catch up with Russ there. The riders are all lining up. You can just see that big pack just starting to appear at on the start line at the moment. Huge numbers of riders. Looks like Brian Smith is here. Brian is here already. Good to see you. Brian has been getting plenty of miles in as well. He's got some great opportunities to be mentored by Brian. Make sure you get yourselves down onto his Instagram and onto his Twitter and Facebook feeds. Interesting to see Rob Copeland's on nice and early. Got a big contingent of women riding as well, and it's already seen Millie Skinner's on here. Julie Leonardo's made it back once again. We're going to see just who is going to be in this list. It's pretty much a who's who. Well, certainly when it comes to riders, we've got some very fast riders. Kieran Smith from X-Box Over Rider, he's going to be riding. He's looking for a top 5 finish. Today we'll see whether he can hang on into the end. So Andy Hawes is here, which is great to see again. George Kirkpatrick, the big sprinter, making it once again. John Hind is in here as well. Adam Gale, Dean Evans. Dean is not Dan Evans, but he's a D Evans on his name, and it does pay if in doubt. Put all of your name across on the surname, then I get to read it and everybody else gets to know it. So mine is M for my first name and then at Payne afterwards. So it says Matt Payne. If you just put M Payne, I could be Matt or Mark, or maybe I'm Michelle. Who knows? It's not the weekend. So let's see who's going to be on here. The big riders that come out week in, week out. Looks like Victoria Chavaria is here. So Vic's here. Now look out for Vic Bites on the way through. Bryce Smithy we've already mentioned. Looks like Dan Cogan is here. Scott Harrison, always fast. Scott, interesting to see if he's up there. Looks like Billy Nomex has made it again. Adi Dench is here. Becca Kingdom. Becca very, very strong on Thursday. Watched and interested to see how she was going. Carl Saint has made it. Oh, if that's the same Carl Saint I was racing against, Carl, very, very quick Yorkshire Road Club rider. Not sure how many Carl Saints there are out there. Mark Thwaites riding once again for the RAF. Then Mark, of course, a brother to Scott. Ashley Brown has made it. Ashley, one of the really quick riders. So we're about to set off. Let's keep an eye out. There's Carl Kopinski in here. Paul Dickinson. Simon Warren. Looks like Glenn Turbo. Matt Manicky's in here once again. Kieran Smith is in. Simon Oxton. Cam Fraser. Andy Bishop. Glenn Thorley's in here. Looks like Millie, as we mentioned, Millie Skinner is in here. Martin Bolt once again making his way in. So we're off and running. Let's get across towards the action. Let's see just who is going to be leading it out. We're currently with Russ at the moment, and we're going to see if we can get ourselves up to one of our regular riders. So let's see who we're going to be watching as we make our way out onto the circuit. Russ at the moment kicking out 198 watts. Now if you've not been to this circuit before, let's get you a quick look at the maps. So going to be really interesting to see just where we're going. Remember, we're going to do one full lap. The Innsbruck map, well, the Innsbruck map looks a lot like this. So we're going to try and pull you that up. The tech not necessarily working as fast as my voice is, so we're going to take out one very key thing, and that's going to be me up in front of everybody. And let's get you all of the details on Innsbruck. So the Innsbruck circuit, as you can see, it goes across the river twice. So at the moment, the riders just are making the way around from the start. Start is only a few meters from the initial section, 200 meters before the actual line. That's where the orange dot is. You can just see the chevrons in the middle of your screen. The orange dot is the start, and then it drops down where the blue dot is, and across the two little sides of the river, the tributary of the river in Innsbruck, over the main one and up onto the climb, top left of your screen. Then it roller coasters its way down along to the long thin stretch along the river, through the green sprint, and then back again. It's 5.5 miles, 8.8 kilometres around the circuit, 72 metres or 236 feet. And if I remember correctly, it's 180 XP points as well. So remember, the riders have that circuit. The aim is to keep everybody together. First of all, as we keep an eye on Russ, who is out on that circuit, just waiting for that to regroup. Just top right of the little screen is going to give us that viewpoint. So we're going to go across, and we're going to join all of the action with me, Matt Payne, and going to be bringing you everything that happens out on the course. So let's join the riders out there. Here we go. And at the moment, we are going to be looking across. We're just with Russ. Let's have a little quick change across. See, well, it looks like the very famous Andy Singleton is here. Let's have a little look where Andy is in this bunch. Andy just rolling around just in front. So we're going to take a little bit of a look. We're going to use what is the cam. So the aim is to not drop anybody. The aim should be that everybody's holding around about what is going to be something approaching 2.5 watts per kilo on the way through. So the aim is not to drop everyone. Let's see whether that is going to be the case or whether everybody is starting to lose touch already. Big pack of riders up at the front, and there are plenty of people just starting to be distanced a little bit further back. So big pack of riders, lots of very quick riders in here. Good to see Brian Smithy making back. Andy Hall's coming on as well. I know Andy doing a talk as chat at 7:30 tonight as well, so don't forget to go onto Horse Talks. You can get that on Andy's Instagram channel. Great to see so many of our regular riders there. Now Carl Kapinski looking good at the moment. Lee Allen in this group now. Ted's in here. Ted is I think is Edward Allen, if I remember correctly, so forever to be known as Ted, because I'm not going to call him anything else now, particularly as he was on there. Give me some stick on the Facebook page. Don't forget to follow the Facebook page. Make sure you've been giving me plenty of stick on there. Need the abuse. Normally have to pay for that sort of ear ache, but the riders are looking smooth as they go out on to the circuit. Now we're going to go zoom on the map. Top right hand side of your screen, you'll see the bigger map, the zoomed out version. We've gone across one tributary through the Zeb bend to the roundabout with a right hand turn, and we're now going up towards the crossing back over the same tributary here. As we take a look at this big pack rolling on, still holding around about that 2.5, 2.7 watts per kilo. It certainly looks to me like the group just starting to reform. Let's have a little bit of a look back behind this group as we go over this higher bridge of the two, over and past the station. One or two people just behind. Looks like Chris Hilbertson here for Sherwood Pies. Smithy's in for the out of the saddle group as well. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a drop back as the group go through. We're just going to see who is running a little bit further back, but most of this group is looking pretty much together. So let's have a little bit of a look back. We're just currently with George Cooper from Sherwood Pines at the moment. We're going to try and take a little bit of a flick back behind George, who's sitting just in front, I think, of Russ Downing at the moment. And not too many people behind. It looks like Russ just backing off the pace to sitting at that 2.3 watts per kilo. A compact group is with him at the moment, but it looks like in front of him there is definitely a group just starting to open. So John Allen sitting with Russ Downing, Josh Cooper in there. It looks like Parks is there, Dobson as well. 6 seconds up the road, it's a group with Martin Bolt in. So we're going to take a little bit of a look across at where Russ is at the moment. All this group holding together. So we go through. So it looks like Russ is in this little group at the back, just dropping back. The request has gone in to take it easy up on the front, and I think Russ is not going to get his wish here, because it looks to me like those riders have really started to hammer out. So just keeping a look, looks like Russ, Ian Brooks, just 2 seconds back. Wade Roberts is going to be at about 4 seconds back behind. And as you can see, the leaders are really hammering. So Brooks making his way on. So Brooks is going to come on and jump on with that group. Looks like we're going to get Wade coming on as well. So here we go. They're on now. This is where they're going to start putting a little bit of pressure on to pull themselves back up to the group. The leading group, though, currently sitting at 15 seconds up the road. Sonia Ilsley in this group. Scott Thwaites is back with us. Let's take a little bit of a look at Scott. He's eased off as well. You can see Scott just dropping back. He's about 15 seconds behind the main group, just dropping and letting Russ get back on to that group. So Scott is here. He's in the blue Alpecin Phoenix jersey, the Alpecin Phoenix jersey, the one worn by Scott Thwaites. And if we take a little bit of a look up just on the side here, so well on Scott. The rest of the riders, I think, just having backed off the pace a little bit. They're going to need to, because we go up and over this bridge at the moment. You can see as they go over these cobbles, the riders on a 1% gradient. The riders trying to move. It looks like Georgia just getting the message out at the front. He's back off at the front. The aim with the chain gang, we want everybody to have fun. We want everybody to get in that group and really get some PBs out there. And we all remember what it's like first time back after injury, first time on the bike, first time going out with a chain gang. Really nervous, always worried that you're going to stay on. But making it inclusive is what gets everybody going quicker. And remember, when you're in a group, it goes so much faster on Zwift. It's more so even than real life, that is for sure. So the riders at the moment now steadily pulling the way back into the group. The aim is to take it steady on the very start. So you just see at the moment Thwaites moving his way up towards the front of this group. Now I think it was Kirkpatrick who was pulling people up into the group. The aim is to go right the way round to the start line. We're going to see if that's going to happen. We're going to take a little bit of a look closer on the map here as they start to make their way up here. Let's have a little bit of a look at the climb. So this is Leg Snapper. You can see at the moment it's an 8% gradient. Most of this bunch holding together, and riders kicking out about 3.5, 3.1 watts per kilo. One or two people just starting to be distanced a little bit here. Rob Copeland, by the look of it, just drifting back a little bit as they go up. So please guys, if the call comes out, stick it at 2.5 as they come up to the top. What's going to happen, as you can see on the map, they're going to come into this right hand turn. When they hit this right hand turn, that's when things get really, really difficult, because the leaders will accelerate up incredibly quickly as they roll over the top. What you're going to see is the purple dots on the top of your screen, right corner, are going to stretch. There's going to be more gaps and it will open up, and all of a sudden this group that was really close together is really going to swing out, and it's going to spread out as they go over the top. So Russ putting the call out for everybody to slow as they go over the top. We're going to take a little bit of a look down on here as we go down this hillside. We're going to zoom in a little bit more just to see how big those gaps are. And you can see as we look down now on this camera shots, it is looking very, very broken up. Those gaps are opening, and that bunch is now all spread out over what must be nearly 500, if not 600 meters. And speed basically increases as you go down, therefore the gap increases between each of these riders. So if you're on the front, don't bother pedaling till you get caught is the word. Now breaking into about 5 groups. One massive group on the front, then a group of about 15, 2 or 3 sandwiched in between, then this group that we're focused on at the moment, which is the group that contains Scott Thwaites. Behind them though, I think we're going to see another group forming. This is going to be the Downing group, because he is a little bit further back at the moment. We're going to try and drop a little bit further back towards Russ. So here is Russ now at the moment, and Russ just making his way up and through these turns. So at the moment Russ in a little bit of a group of 3 or 4 riders as they come in and through, just dropping down, taking that left hand turn around. Now this is the run into the sprint. In theory nobody's going for the sprint this time as the riders coming down. So Russ just coming on to the back, riders just jumping on. Looks like John Smith getting on that group. They're on the way through to Copeland. I think Sonia Inslee's in this group as well. Sonia put a great ride around London. Kirkpatrick not too far in front. Mr. Kirkpatrick, one of our fantastic riders who is always on the ball when it comes to looking after everybody else, and that's what you'd want in the chain gang to start off with. You go through as a pack, you look after each other, you make sure that everybody stays together. So the leading group now going underneath and out the other side of the archway here at Innsbruck. We've got a sole rider just in front of this big pack coming through. Barracliff just in front of Smith. Looks like somebody taking a bit of a flyer there. I think there was Simon taking a flyer through as Flanders comes in. V-Bike Sovic still in here as well. Looks like Kieran Fox is in this group as well. Rob Copeland's in here. Sean Jackson, Dean Evans is in here. Looks like Hale, Oxenham and Russell's in there. So this group's looking pretty much together. We're going to take a little bit of a look back. We're going to do the magic of virtual racing, dive through the buildings, you know, with our drone. It's amazing, this drone goes through absolutely any buildings whatsoever. So we come in and through, just taking a little bit of a look back. That is a fractured group at the moment. It's starting to come back a little bit more, and they're going to sweep up another round. Now it is Scott Thwaites leading this group along at the moment. these riders are working hard as a group. Now, as they came through the sprint, we're not going to grace the riders with the honour of having their times up at the moment. Do you know why? Because they were all told to hold 2.5 watts per kilo, and anybody who hasn't is going to be at the front of that. So as we go through, we're going to dodge those riders who've stumped their way through, done the sprint up as they've headed out, and we're going to have a little look down at this group. You can see a number of people still riding disc wheels here. Debatable choice that on this circuit, because although it is a mainly rolling circuit, what you're going to find is that it's not the best circuit to keep those discs on for, and that's simply because the hill is steep enough that a set of more rolling wheels. If you've got something like one of the Zip 454s, the 854, or you've got something like one of the lighter Envy wheels, the 3.2s or 3.4s, they're going to roll a little bit better. They're better on the climbs, and even though this is a very quick chain gang, it's still not going to be quick enough to cause a problem if you've got a nice aero wheel that's a little bit lighter. Same with the bikes. You see a number of riders have got the Tron bikes there. I think Fraser is just down in this group. Let's see if we can take a quick look at Fraser's bike. You've got to just catch on to him. Oh, that's Chris Gale. Chris has got one. So here we are, Tron bike. Tron wheels, changeable colours, as we just see. I think that's Alan going around the outside there. And as you can see, these Tron bikes very, very bright, and they allow the riders to have what is regarded as almost the best of both worlds. It's not the lightest climbing bike. If you go for something like a Specialized Tarmac Pro with a set of Envy wheels, very, very hard to touch. There are lightweight wheels out there, but you've got to win them. You can't go out and buy them. Chris Gale, though, using this Tron bike, it is a Zwift Concept 1 bike, but it is at the moment known universally as the Tron bike, and as you can see, the riders are able to adjust what colour they have. So here we go, this group just really reforming, and it looks like all the usual suspects in there. Rockobler is definitely in that group. It looks like Barracliff is in there, Russ is in there. They're going to have a little bit of a look back. Looks like Kuzak's in there for Brixton Cycles, one of our really fast riders. Let's have a little bit of a look and see if we can see this here. Let's see whether we're going to get a decent view on the way. Let's have a little look. So this is just on her way through. So Kuzak, one of the very quick riders in the group. We'll get a quick look from above, see where she is first of all. Brixton Cycles rider, very, very fast, taking sprint jerseys on the Donny chain gang. A top quality rider, and if we have a little bit of a zoom in, on the good days we're actually going to be able to see the rider. And so there we go, with a black helmet with the Brixton Cycles light. It's almost a salmon coloured top there with the B on her back. That is a Cusack, a very, very fast rider indeed. And we'll just take a zoom out because I know these camera angles are going to be a little bit jumpy. Hopefully going to bring you some good news about the footage, and that is going to be that we are looking to speed up everything, make it a little bit quicker. We've been on the hunt for some more processing power, and if you're out there, don't hesitate to get back in touch, because basically we need your help. If we're going to keep the Donny chain gang coming out, we already have some great sponsors of Downing Cycling in the form of Grand Tour Coffee, of Halo Wheels, Pinarello OTE, of Wahoo and HOT Hospitals, Mallorca Cycling. We've had the Bad Brewing Company sponsor us with beer. We've had muck off with cleaning products. We've had some great prizes from Grand Tour, from Halo Wheels, but we need a little bit more in terms of processing power. Now, if you're sat there and you're furloughed, or your company's got a whole load of fantastic powered PCs, we need that power. If it's not doing anything in your workplace, get in touch with me, Matt at Full Speed Events, or with Russ or Dean at Downing Cycling, or Dean at Downing Cycling. Get in touch with any of the three of us, either on the Facebook page, by email, because we need your processing power. More processing power, faster the pictures run. None of us are doing this for money. This is all done to keep the sport together in what are trying times. So Russ, Dean and myself, Matt Payne, spending days, I'd like to say weeks, it feels like weeks a lot of the time, just giving our time just so that everybody gets a great ride on what is a very traditional, almost chain gang feel ride, and trying to keep the group together initially, and then find groups for people to ride. Lots of people improving their power, getting some great racing and some great company, and a lot of great banter as well on the chat. So please, guys, if you've got the processing power, if it's sat there in your office, in your lab at work, it's not doing anything, you're never going to use it because you're only going to get 15 people in the door instead of 100. If it's a uni or similar, just get in touch with us. Just borrow that kit, we can get it plugged in, we'll look after it, I promise you. And sit down here in my studio and then we will get that done and set up, and then the chain gang will improve for everybody. So if in doubt, get in touch. Hopefully got some good news on some of that processing power coming shortly, but we're going to hold our fire announcing that until we know it's definitely going to happen. Now, having a look, I think one of the men with some of the best facial hair at the moment in lockdown, that's Andy Bishop. I've just seen him running in and through. We're just watching Carl Saint at the moment, and it's got to be the same Carl Saint. Desperate to take a little bit of a look to see if it is Carl he used to race against. Carl wasn't the tallest of riders, but my goodness, he was quick. He was a very, very fast rider, and it wouldn't surprise me if he is absolutely flying and expecting to put in some serious rides if it is Carl. I suspect it probably is. He was a good runner, good marathon runner, and definitely a very good bike rider, winner of lots of races. Now let's have a little look at Andy Singleton if we can get to him. He's a bit elusive. Now I'm going to see if he's going to go cyclocross style. Last time out, we were in London, he decided to cut across. He'd been watching too much of the protests in London and not doing enough riding of his bike. He was doing an Armstrong across the edge of the grass on his way through, but Andy Singleton is somewhere down in this. Let's have a little bit of a look from above. Let's see if we can take a look in with the helicopter, watching Andy on his way through. A new almost pro rider. Apparently he spends that much time on his bike. All the rest of the pro bunch are worried about this man in the future, although I have been told he's a little bit sensitive to how much time he spends on the bike. We won't tell anybody that you're basically pro these days, mate. Honest gov. So this group holding together, we're going to jump from Andy and we're going to see if we can just drop a little bit further down through this group, maybe down towards the back of the bunches. We'll see if anybody is too far out. Most of this group is holding together here and sitting within a few seconds. There is a group though sitting at what is going to be 1 minute down. Let's have a little bit of a look who's in that group. I think we're going to find this group has got Sonia Inslee in here, and it's got Fulton in here, Cooties in here as well, Shaw's in this group. Now this is the second group on the road behind Scott Thwaite's group. You can see it there. Sonia Inslee of the Bolsover and District Cycle Club, the best club anywhere within the region near me. I won't go for any international claims at this point as the riders start to make their way back across, but I think we're going to start to see a little bit of a rip up coming sooner from the leading riders. So we're going to jump back across towards the front of the group because we're now moving up and on towards the climb. So we're currently following Scott Thwaite. He's the rider at the back. He's not going to be the rider at the back for very long, that is for sure. So here we go. Scott at the back. How long will he stay at the back of this group? Will he be content to sit there as they go up on to this climb? I don't think he's going to be. I suspect we're going to see a little bit of a break up on the front of this group, but nobody's going too hard at the moment. They're holding tight at the minute. This 8% is a bit of a killer. You can see the watts per kilo they're going up. Andy Hall's kicking out 4.5 watts per kilo. It looks like Thwaites 4.5, 4.6 at the moment. It's keeping these guys just in touch at the back, but will it break up at the front? We're going to just take a little bit of a look up here because as they go up over the top, you can just see there's a few riders starting to break clear. I can't imagine Scott Thwaites is going to let this stick. He won last time we were out here. He put in an absolutely storming attack, and it looks like Thwaites just starting to move his way up here. 4.9 watts per kilo. Looks like Matt has up there. Brian Smithy kicking out 4.5. Brian on some good form today as well. So here we go. You can just see behind Thwaites that group is really broken up as they come up and over that corner. So we're sticking with Scott Thwaites. I think he's my bet. He's got certainly where my money's on. Certainly my coffee allowance for the week is on Scott when it comes to the finale, but as we come in towards the sprint area, you're going to take a little bit of a look down. We're going to jump up onto a helicopter angle if we can here, I think, because it's quite simply going to be the way that we're going to get a decent view here. If we zoom out, a number of riders already starting to make their way around towards the very front of the race here. Let's take a little bit of a look up at the very front of the circuit here, and I think Hanley is going to be the man who we need to keep an eye on here. So Hanley, I suspect, is going to be right at the front of this group. We're going to take a little bit of a look back. Yeah, Hanley it is. Look, moving his way up towards the front. Joey Walker is with him. So Hanley in the yellow bike with the GCN kit just going around in front there of Joey Walker. Joey Walker sitting right behind him on that Tron bike, and you can see this group is starting to come through in towards this sprint. Looks like Andy Bishop is up here as well, who's going to be able to kick this sprint in to the finish here. You can see the big numbers are coming out here. Barclays putting out 9 watts per kilo, handling 9.4 right up at the front, though. These numbers are going to come in quick because the riders really are working through that line at some power at the moment. The screen absolutely filled with red. Let's see who it is going to be who's got that men's lead at the moment. The women's lead, it is going to be Swan who's leading that through in front of Inslee that time at the moment. 19.8 on the way through. Coyle, though, has got the men's sprint. So let's jump up to Coyle at the moment. He's leading with a 15. I think a 15.71. We're just taking a look. It's then Simon out with a 16.12. Kirkpatrick with a 16.57. Downing with a 16.6. As this group comes around the bridge, the riders have got to pick this pace back up again as Alan waits for the leaders to come through. In the women's, it is Swan from Skinner. 19.8. Skinner with a 21.17. Then it is going to be the Brixton Cycles rider, 22.16 behind. That is certainly looking to me like it is certainly a very quick ride at the moment. Looks like Kingdom on a 23 second, Jenkins on 23, and Chavaria with 25 as well. Now, is this group regrouping? I'm not so sure it is at the moment, because there's a lot of people certainly looking a little bit blown out here. Just going to drop down on to Cam Fraser. Fraser just sitting down there in the blue, just being tailed there by Russ Downing. And Fraser always up in at the kill, often in the leading breakaway. As we take a little bit of a look, this group is just starting to come together. So this group just starting to reform behind them, though. We're going to take a little bit of a look back. Let's see where they're at. They're about 5 seconds behind. So Russ is sitting at about 1 second at the moment. And the guys are just starting to close up. There's a group of 4 to 5 seconds behind. And I think Alan is in that group. It's a fairly substantial group. They've got plenty of distance left. Remember, this is 36k. They've still got just under 20k to go. And behind this group, it is certainly looking pretty fractured out behind there. So the riders on the way through. Kieran Smith is going well for Bolsover at the moment up there. The riders are steadily working their way around this circuit, just to see coming underneath the UCI gantry at the moment. So underneath they go, and if we take a little bit of a closer look, we've got one rider, I think, just up the road at the moment, just being chased. We're going to try and work out who that is, who's gone for a bit of a fly. If they've gone this early, they're a very brave man, because they're trying to stay clear of what is a very big group indeed. We're just working our way up through this bunch. Matt Manakis in this group. Looks like Stanleyland's in it. Bishop is definitely in this group as well. So Bishop working well at the moment. We're going to take a little bit of a look up. No, it looks like most of these riders together. We're just trying to see who's gone down the road. I think it's Dan Cogan who's gone. Let's have a little bit of a look. Dan has gone for this. He's sitting at 5.6 watts per kilo, and at the moment Dan Cogan has gone off the front of the bunch. He went over the top well, he then went over the top. Now he's holding 5.2 watts per kilo, and I think Dan Cogan has gone for it here. He's got 20 seconds into the group. He's not regrouped as the rest have, so is not going to incur the wrath of Russ. The ride leader, which is just waiting for the messages to pop up. I expect a gold message going, oi, get yourself back here, Dan. At the moment, 20 seconds up the road from that big group. So it looks to me like it's looking pretty good at the front for Kogan. 20 seconds is the gap as Dan goes through. Dan rides for the Sigma Sport team, the Sigma Sport team, and one of our regular riders. He's not actually been right at the very thick of it. Behind, though, the group dropping sometimes, sitting at 22 seconds. Let's get ourselves back to Rob Copeland. So Rob just sitting on the front of this group. Joey Walker beside him. Looks like the guys from MTS Cycle Sport, Oxenham, coming round the outside there. And looks like Hyams in here. Thwaites is in here. Horse in this one. Lane's in there as well. Wade Roberts in here. Rowan Parker just going to be a little bit behind. It's like Rowan Parker and Hall 6-7 seconds behind. So let's have a look and see just where everyone is. So just taking a little bit of a look down, and definitely some chatter on the messenger. Remember, if you want to get involved with the ride, get yourselves down, sign up on the Facebook page. Make sure whilst you're online you visit our fantastic sponsors, the guys from Halo Wheels, Pinarello, OTE, remember who of course with the best turbo trainers in the business that we get to ride on. HMT Hospitals are here if you need patching up, like I seem to be in the habit of doing. You know the saying, if you don't try hard, you don't come off, you're not trying hard enough. I must be trying really hard because I come off quite a lot, I must admit, at the moment. Not that I'm accident prone, I just try a lot, that's all, honest guff. Just writing checks that my skill level can't cash. That's probably the more accurate statement. So the riders are going on. Looks like Jacob Bush are just drifting off the back of this group a little bit. Scott Thwaites and Russ Downing. Rob Copeland sitting in the middle of this group. Let's have a little look behind this group. So we're just going to zoom our way around the group as they go over the bridge in towards the right hand turn. And you can just see one or two riders fighting to get back on to the back of this group, just in ones and twos down there behind this group of riders. But this group now kicking along 3.7, 3.8, coming through 4.5 from some of these riders. Remember, the course is going to change. When it goes uphill, it suits the lighter riders. When it's going downhill, the bigger riders, people like me, get to put their 85 kilos to some serious power. We can kick out a lot more watts. That makes a big difference. But the man of the road, it is Dan Kogan, who's gone clear at the minute, and that is definitely going to be interesting to see what the group are going to do about that, because Dan has now got a substantial margin. Kogan at the moment sitting about 35 seconds up the road. Now, can they pull this back? Are they going to get this group back? Because are they going to get back onto him? I'm not sure they can, because Dan is a handy rider. But can he hold it? Not sure he can. We'll soon see. So Hyam in this group looking good at the moment. McLean is in here. Kogan at the moment, he's dropped down. He's about 29 seconds down now. So he's currently holding his own. Let's see if he's going to keep that advantage now. Let's go to Swan. Swan is one of our faster riders in here. We're just going to try and jump across to Swan here, and doing a great job in this ride at the moment. Just fighting our way to get to everybody as we go around the road. Try and mention everyone. I know a number of people get a bit knocked every now and then when we don't mention them. Well, do you know what? There's a lot of riders now. It's a lot easier when we only had 35 on the chain gang, but that's not the case anymore. So it's well over 100 now on every ride, and lots of views as well up on the YouTube channel. Please make sure you keep sharing that around, send it around your friends. The more people we get watching, the more riders we have watching this, the better a job we can do of making sure that you get all of the coverage from the chain gang, and that we can keep it nice and smooth. Now this group is keeping it together nicely on the way through here. It certainly looks to me like they're not going to break up at the moment. Kogan is up the road. He's the rider who's got right up in front. And as you zoom out, he's already halfway up the climb at the moment. Now let's have a little look. Lily Swan is our fast rider to keep an eye on at the moment. We're going to jump back across to Karl Kapinski up, and we're going to try and do this with the drone camera as they come up on to the climb here. So as they go up the climb, they're closing down. Top Cat just putting a big kick there, kicking out 8 watts per kilo. Russ Downing's at 7.9. He's on his way through. He's up to 8 now. So Downing working through. It looks to me like Scott Thwaites is right up at the pointy end here as well. Lee Allen is as well. Now look out, Joey Walker's up there. Russ is the man who's kicking hard. He was going really strong to push himself up into this group, and he's moved halfway up into the front group. It looks to me though Thwaites is behind. Barrowcliff is right up there. Standing Land's putting the pressure on, and I think they've closed the gap down a little bit here on the riders in front. Top Cat with that kick has got up there. Kirkpatrick has the same, and as they come up and over the top. So we're going to take a little bit of a look up here. So at the moment we're with Kirkpatrick. He is the leading rider down in that super tuck position. It's got to be a gradient of less than, sorry, a bigger gradient than -3. It's going to be -3, -4, -5 or more. As the riders who are putting the power down are pushing now. Now they've closed that gap down a little bit on Kogan. And remember, we are currently looking at what is going to be about 13k to go, so I suspect that's going to be one more full lap on the way around. Remember, it's an 11k lap. That's where we hope that Russ got the distance right. We're going to shoot up here into the eye in the sky as we can see that group. Russ is up near the front of the group. We're going to try and just jump across to Russ at the moment because he's moving his way up. And you can just see that group is reforming around him, but they're just starting to mob over the top. And in front of him, they're going to be coming in towards the sprint, but it's going to be hard to get a really good sprint time as you come through this time round. And that's quite simply because the riders are coming through at such a pace in a big group. And it is not going to be the case that you're going to be able to do that in this group. So at the moment as they go along, you can see Russ sitting about 6th wheel. They're in past that sprint line at the moment. And I think it could well be Kieran Smith who's going to be putting in a good ride here. He's one of the youngster riders, a medalist in the National Hill Climb. I think he was age champion as well, riding for the MI Racing team before last season. Not quite sure where he is this season because a lot of our riders are not starting off. What we're going to see is the time going to come down on the sprint, because at the moment Kieran Smith sitting in 10th place. I don't think he has reduced his time down. Coyle is still hanging on to that green jersey. Russ is through in with this group, and this is where we normally see an attack, a move made if we're not careful. The riders get distance. They put absolutely everything in. Kogan swept up by the speed of the sprint. He's dropped towards the back of the group, and all this group is back together. So after that long leg stretch by Dan Kogan, he's been reabsorbed in the group. Lily Swan still holding the female sprint jersey at 19.8, sitting in this group along with Millie Skinner, I think, still in this group. Cusack just holding in there here as well. She's got a slow sprint time of 22.16 at the moment. Now Wade Roberts is in this group. Simon Warren, the 100 climbs man, is in here. Top Cat's in here as well. Joey Walker, well, yeah, again, Joey is in here. Good to see Joey doing the business. He's been doing a lot of miles out on Zwift. It has to be said, getting a lot of race results from Zwift as well. So Russ continues to make his way through. Shows you how hard he's working. 145 beats per minute. Just revving over and kicking over about 82. A little bit slower than we've seen him on some of the other rides, and currently kicking out 245 watts now. Kogan, how's he recovered? He's currently kicking out 4.7 watts per kilo, and that's translating into about 300 watts, 151 beats per minute. He's on a very low rest per minute though. It's fluctuating up and down. I'm not so sure that's correct. Now he's back up to the 90 mark. That's where we'd expect him to be. So we're going to go underneath the gantry. Russ confirming 1 more lap to go. 1 lap left to go here on the Donny Chain Gang. This is our leading group. We started off with over 100. We're now currently running down a lot less than that 100 riders. That is for sure, as they come in and through. So it certainly looks like this group is probably, what, 30 riders max? So 1 more lap to go, and Simon Warren here. Rob Copeland is in here. It looks like Scott Thwaites holding in here comfortably as they go in underneath the line. Russ Downing in this group as well. And these riders looking very, very smooth now. Joey Walker's in here. Looks like Ratcliffe's in here. Bridgewood's in here. Coyle's in here. I'm just going to try and take a look and see who else is in this group. Kaplinsky holding it tight in this group. It's rolling around at the moment, so Kogan is in here. So Sean Jackson up in this group, leading this group by the look of it through. Certainly looking like this group just about holding together. If we take a little bit of a look over, zoom out, you can see that the gap really has opened up now. So Kieran Smith's in here, Stanley Land's in here, Bridgewood is in here. Watching Kogan at the moment, the motor rider who put that big attack in. I don't think my money's on him for the finish, so I think he can go with the guys when they're going quick, but I think that long speculative attack, he was looking to get a few people to go with him. Will it be Joey Walker's day? Joey, of course, one of our regular fast men. He's there in the Vitas kit. We'll scroll our way right the way around him there. So you just see Joey Walker's riding for the Vitas team there. And Joey just sitting at the back of the bunch, just conserving some energy. Wade Roberts is in here as well. And this group, it is definitely down to what is almost 20, 25 riders now as they go through. Kirkpatrick is in this group as well. And it's looking good. Hanley sitting in here. Sayers in here. Now, who is going to be able to put the pressure on? They've just gone back over the Little River, the tributary of the main river here in Innsbruck. As they go around, they're going to take this right-hand turn, then they're going to be heading towards the roundabout before dropping across the tributary, heading across towards the cobbles and up towards Lake Snapper for the final time. Now, if you've not watched the chain gang before, the hill is the final kick. This is where it will all really go, because nobody will be wanting to attack now. Nobody's brave or stupid enough to get themselves up. As Russ is just saying, there are 3 Sigma Sport, indeed 3 Sigma Sport riders in here at the moment, and they do have strength in numbers. Whether they're going to stay there, Fraser is the man we always watch out for. He's been putting in some really, really quick attacks on the way through. Every time we come onto the hill, he's there putting the pressure on. It's like Brown in here. Scott Thwaites is in it. Thwaites at the moment. What's that heart rate doing? Thwaites is 161. He's not taking it easy then, if that's his heart rate. As we make our way up, you can just see the riders are working their way through this straight. It's a long straight section. You get a good view back behind the group side in 1s and 2s, but that's the good thing about the chain gang. You are going to get spat at some point. We've seen national champions. We saw Ben Swift, Innsbruck, just having a roll into the finish and not going too quickly as these riders make their way along. Kogan sat in here. Certainly looks like there's a little bit of team tactics coming into play here, because it looks like Russ just joining the out the saddle mob. Don't think there's any teammates for Joe from the Vitas team. There's Kieran in here. Smith, he's probably going to try and ride for the Bolsover team. Looks like all these riders, though, are starting to pick, see who they're going to work for or work with. I think it's going to be every man for himself when we hit that big climb, though. As we take a little bit of a look down here, because I think this group, there's some really interesting composition here. There's it is a who's who. We always find this on what is the tougher of the 2 circuits. Traditionally been doing a tough circuit on the Tuesday, tough Tuesdays, and then it is a London Blast, generally on the flatter circuit, on the Greater London Flat, and a slightly bigger circuit, 16 kilometres around. but definitely one of the circuits that is loved by everybody. 155 last time. We're going to hope to get I'd love to see 200 riders on. Don't worry about it telling other people are going to be in front of you. We've got riders like Scott Thwaites here, we've got Joey Walker on here, you've got Russ Downing in here, you've got Cam Fraser in here. The who's who that rolls across the bottom of the screen are all riders who've been on here. Malcolm Elliott, Colin Sturgis, riders who we've known have been quick for years. We've got some riders who maybe you have seen out before. We've had people like Alex Barnes out and riding on the chain gang in the women's category. We've got some very, very fast riders. We're always on the lookout for more. Lots of people enjoying this circuit and enjoying the ride out here. So the riders are starting to move up now. The pace is starting to hot up at the moment, because these riders are certainly looking like they're just starting to put the pressure on up near the front. We're heading in towards the cobbles at the moment, and we're just going to try and jump across from Joey across towards Scott Thwaites, because he's the man I have to admit my money is on. So this is the group as we work our way down over the cobbles at the moment, as we seem to just have lost the sound from those cobbles. Just taking a little bit of a look back here. So this group at the moment rolling along nicely. We're sitting with Thwaites, 165 beats per minute, 276, 270 watts, now up to 300. It's on a 2% section. Nobody is going to want to go too early, but nobody can afford to leave it too late, because once they go up onto this hill, it is really going to get tough. This is where it's going to become a much different prospect. We're going to go around. We've got a slight left and a slight right to come. But this group, Ratcliffe it is, he's putting the pressure on the front. He's tipped to be one of the men who's going for it from Copeland, working hard here. So well, it looks like John Allen is putting the pressure on. He's up at 8.9 at the moment, and it looks like everybody's really kicking down hard here. Nobody is going to be holding this to the top. I don't think we're going to zoom right round, because we can just see at the moment. I think it is Thwaites who's moved up now. So Thwaites is onto the wheel there of Copeland. So here he goes. It is Scott Thwaites. He's got Copeland with him. He's gone round Copeland now. 10.5, 11 watts per kilo, 12 watts per kilo coming out. Coyle's working hard here. Copeland is sitting on Thwaites' wheel here. So Copeland on a serious ride. Clearly the Donny chain gang has been working to Copeland's advantage as they come down. Thwaites is leading. It's Copeland sitting in second position. Coyle at 1 second. Kogan at 5 seconds. Allen at 5 seconds. Now Walker's at 6. It is a group that is behind these riders. You can just see them sitting behind on your screen. So we've got 3 riders up at the front. At the moment, it's Coyle in the orange jersey. The white jersey is Copeland. The blue of Alpecin Phoenix, that is Thwaites behind then. Kogan is working hard here, and they're closing together at 3 seconds now. Kogan working hard here to close that gap down. Joey Walker is there. Oxenham is leading the third group on the road, and that is a group that contains Russ Downing as well. So that is sitting very close together at the moment. I'm going to take a little bit of a zoom in on these riders, because it certainly looks to me like our leading group here of Thwaites, along with Copeland and Coyle, have just opened that gap a little bit. It's now out at 4 seconds is the gap. And you say start to make the way in towards that sprint line. They're not going to mess about. The purple dot you can see is a rider who's about to get themselves a lap. I think it's going to be Crehan who's going to see this group coming through first. He's going to have a ringside seat here for this finish, because they're absolutely smashing the way in and through. So it's Coyle, then Thwaites and Copeland, being followed then by Kogan, Lindsay, Walker in there. It looks like Allen is in that chasing group behind at the moment. But Thwaites is in here. How long will he wait to put the hammer down? They're going through the sprint. Copeland's gone for the sprint jersey. That's a brave move. He's not going to have much left by the time he gets to UCI. Has he gone for a long one? Rob's a light rider, but he's punchy. He's very good when it comes to a techie circuit. Seen him racing well on the urban crosses. Adam 7-8 putting those races on in Sheffield in Rob Copeland's home. But Rob putting in a little bit of a dig there. Not breaking clear of Thwaites. Not breaking clear of Coyle. Behind this group then, it's 7 seconds to Joey Walker and Alan coming through. You can just see Simonite is working hard here. Thwaites is at the back of this group, and is he going to jump? Coyle has just been dropped a little bit going round that corner. So here we go, the riders now on to this final straight away, and Thwaites is starting to wind up. It's 5.6, 5.2 watts per kilo. He's not broken clear. Coyle's putting in a dig now to get on that wheel. He's at 8.1 he just went up to. It's going to come from these three riders is our winner, I think. The bunch is behind, but they're not going to close this gap down. So these riders are our leading riders. Coyle in the orange, it's Copeland in the white, it's Thwaites in the blue. They've now got 7 seconds from that chasing group behind, and the gap is coming. It's not long. They're coming back along here. It's holding there at 6 seconds now. We're going to try and give you a view back behind these riders here. This is going to take a little bit of doing with our camera, just trying to scoot its way in. You can see the bunch behind there. So that second group is chasing. Thwaites is leading. Coyle's in there. Copeland's in there. They're about 400 metres out and away from that finishing line at the moment. The three still holding on. 4 seconds back to Joey Walker and the Kogan group then Simon Warren leading that third group with Wade Roberts. That's the bunch that contains Russ Downing. Now Thwaites is in here. Copeland's pushing out 9 watts per kilo. They're going to get a view of the finish line any second. The group behind still at 4 seconds. They're not bringing them back now, and the pressure really is on here. They're going to be able to see this line as they go along the straight. The gantry is up in front. Who is going to take it? It looks like Coyle's gone for it here. In the orange, you can Thwaites answer him. He's left it late. Has he left it too late? He has. It is going to be Coyle who takes this. Great ride by Coyle. Gets across the line first. Rob Copeland goes through in second. It's Scott Thwaites coming through in third position. Behind them then, the riders are working hard behind. Let's see who's going to come through. Kogan goes through. I think he's going to take the position behind. Then it is going to be our man from Horsepower Coaching and Joey Walker. Top gap coming in and through. Kieran Smith not going to have made his target, I think, this time around of a top 5 position. As Callaway just starts to ease back on the pressure there, but plenty of time for Kieran to impress when we go across to London on Thursday. Simon Warren coming through up in that leading group. Some fantastic riding. Now we're going to try and work our way back. The companion app at the moment is marginally temperamental. That's me being as subtle as I can. So I think I've got a little glitch on the system with it, which means I'm not able to jump back as quick as we normally would to our riders behind. So Russ is going to continue riding onwards. We're going to try and work our way back. I think Hanley just making his way around and through. So it looks like Hanley having got through the finishing line there. And we're going to take a look back. Crehan on his way in now. He was one lap down. To take a look at Allen. I think he is just making his way. So Lee Allen with the flat cap on. Very good, mate. That's what we want to see. We want to see a flat cap when we come out on the Donny chain gang. Let's face it, everybody wears them all the time, don't they? Honest? No. Might have to dig mine out. He got chilled because it was so hot, but the Halo hat is definitely a little bit better. So Allen on his way in. I think Shaw from Sitwell on his way through. The Sitwell arms at the moment closed, the traditional meeting point, but Shaw now in here. Fraser's winding it up on the front of this group, I think. So Fraser it's going to be who's going to lead them through. Then it's going to be O'Reilly. It's followed by Shaw. Fox pushing hard towards the line. Gale comes through behind. Then it's going to be Harrison. It looks like Hind riding very, very strongly as well. And Andy Singleton not too far off the pace now. I think this could be one of our leading women rider coming through, because I've just seen Millie a little bit further back behind her. Cusack, Millie Skinner, one of the regular riders on the Donny chain gang, and of course on the Downing Cycling Club runs. Millie just making her way down through there with Lily Swan. So Lily Swan and Millie Skinner just coming down in through that finishing line, completing their ride. A good ride by both of those. Kuzak coming through in front, and looks like Carl Saint in the group here that has Mark Thwaites in. And they've made their way down through that finish. Ryan Parker making his way in. Well done. Looks like Ted, well, Edward just coming in and through. Can't call you Edward. I had an Uncle Edward, he became Ted very, very quickly. John Smith in this group, just in front, so it looks like this is the group with Dean Evans in there, just coming around the bridge. Let's have a follow of these guys in to the finish here. So the guys just making the way in. And looks like John Smith in this group. Lane in here, Hale is in here as well, Donahoe in here. Looks like Brian Smithy in this group. Nice big group here, making the way in and down towards the line as well. Looks like Taylor in here, so Donahoe of the Barnsley Row Club are just sitting second wheel at the moment, and just Brian Smithy just in this group as they make their way down the straight here. So real who's who. Luke Stone, good to see Luke in here. Dean Evans, not Dan Evans, although they both come from Wales. Different riders as this group starts to pick up the pace here. Looks like Kingdom is in here as well, but that's Kingdom on the set of pink wheels on the pink Tron bike there. So looks like Kingdom just winding it up on that Tron bike. John Smith goes through. Looks to me like Smithy's going to go back on the front. No, it's Lane on there. Smithy's sitting in here nicely at the moment. Brian Smithy, coach, commentator, announcer, former national road champion as well, just making his way down, just sitting behind, but I think it's going to be Lane who's going to take this. A big kick as they come in, and are we going to see Whitehead? He does, he just rolls Smithy on the line there. Then it's going to be Kingdom, followed there by Evans, and Kingdom goes through Bryce Smithy. Not too far behind as well, so good to see our riders making the way in. We're going to have a little bit of a drop back because I think Andy Hawes is a little bit further behind these riders. Andy maybe keeping his lungs in one piece for a little bit of talking that's due to come up. So let's see if we can have a little look at Andy. Andy was right in there. Andy just ghosting his way around. Always interesting when it does that to our riders. So it looks like it is Lightfoot, Farrell and Hawes riding in here together on that roll in towards the finish. Is Andy going to give us a big kick sprint in towards the finish? We'll have a little bit of a look. Andy just sitting second wheel at the moment as they go down the side there, I think, of Brooks. So we're going to take a little bit of a look. You can just see the gantry there, just a little bit hidden as you come in. It's a dark black line across the white building there. So here we go, the riders on the way in. And I think it is going to be Farrell who's going to take this, and Andy pulls his finger out. Come on, he put a kick in. Lightfoot's gone free. So up the watts per kilo. They've just realised where they are. Farrell's gone up to 4.9. It looks like it's going to be Lightfoot. Oh, Farrell's kicking hard. Is Farrell? Yeah, Farrell gets it from Lightfoot. Then it's Andy Hawes who came in behind. Looks like Brooks are looking pretty blown out at this stage. Now let's have a little bit of a look back behind, and we're going to go across. We're on the hunt for the riders behind, so let's have a little look. We're going to go across to Jenkins, who is here. So two of our female riders are riding in here. Good to see these riders coming in. So smooth riding here as the rider comes through. So we've got Jenkins and Leonardo both together. Just going to see Jenkins just roll onto the side of Leonardo here. So our riders on the way in this tough circuit, really testing our riders as they went out now. Lee Jenkins with Julia Leonardo on the way down this straight. Slightly different styles from these riders, because Jenkins 2.4 as we go now. Julie sitting at 2.5. They're on the final run down for the line. I'm not sure who's going to get this. Take a look. You'll use the helicopter shot down here at the moment. So here we go. The guys on the way in to the finish now. It is Julie in the white. It is Lee in the black jersey. Both riders look to be riding side by side on the way in towards this line. It's not far in front of these riders. If we take a little bit of a look from behind one of our riders, you can just see as they go through. I think it is going to be, looks like Julie just taking that from Lee, or 2 riders in. Now behind them, more groups on the way in and through. I think we're going to have Shaw, Flanders and Inslee coming through. Looks like a number of the riders just being a distance here. So Sonia, a rider who's got plenty of Cure M's out around where I live, down up in the edge of Derbyshire, making her way in. Sonia, one of our regular riders, been on the chain gang before, and always good to see Sonia in action. A very accomplished time trial rider as well. So our riders are making the way down. Looks like Sonia just on her own, just making her way in towards that final line. The actual event line a little bit further on, and it looks like 1 or 2 of our riders just sprinting for the event line rather than the UCI line. That's going to give us the chance to roll our way through. So as we see Sonia just making her way along straight here for the Bolsover District Cycling Club on the specialised S-Works, and definitely got the right zip wheels for the climb for sure. That is a good wheel set to go through. You're going to see Sonia move her way up. Behind then it's going to be Holmes. So this is Holmes on his way in here. Then it's going to be Fulton who's going to come in towards the line next. So here we go. Fulton on the way through. Nice classic jerseys. I do like that traditional jersey there, the Strava jersey. A little bit further back behind Fulton, we're going to take a look. This is going to be Victoria Chivaria. So Vic with a serious haircut at the moment there, Vic. Not sure what's going on there. Not sure you look quite like that in real life. We've followed your Instagram feed, the commentator's best friend, that is for sure. So Victoria just on her way up to the sprint line here, going underneath the banner, and then Victoria Chivares will be rolling down and in towards the finish. Behind her then looks like Parks on the climb here, so we'll take a look as Parks is out of the saddle here, going to come round to that right hand turn, and then it's going to be a drop down the hillside, just dropping down low here. And that looks like a fairly deep set of zips to be coming up that hillside. That Park's now on the way down. Maybe change for some lighter wheels on this circuit. Don't want light wheels when we go to London. No, that is for sure, because at London you definitely want to have the fastest set of wheels you got. Not everybody has that choice. Looks like Clark on one of the standard bikes here, just being passed by Bolt. So it looks like Martin Bolt on his way round. Martin still waiting some official title, failing in his Lanterne Rouge duties, if that's what he was aiming to do. Let's see if he's going to pace Clark up here. So Martin Bolt, the campaign of all things cycling, and then Martin up in Kirklees, out there doing good stuff for a long while. And if you follow him on Strava or on his Instagram feed, you'll see that he's not unknown to have a few bits of bling round his neck as well. Shows that he's always a popular man to get himself elected and up there. But Martin, a advocate of all things cycling, and great to see Martin back on the chain gang, one of our regular riders. It shows you, I think, everybody getting great ride out of the course at the moment, with 4 of our riders still left pretty much on course heading into the finish. Let's shoot across and let's have a quick look. I think this is going to be Victoria heading in to the finish here, and if we take a little bit of a zoom around here and just start to see the gantry is going to come up into view once Victoria goes around the left hand. So Victoria's been in and getting better week on week. Great to see the improvements coming. And Victoria, for those of you riders who, or viewers who not follow this, riding over in Costa Rica. So Vic riding in the morning, whereas we get to ride on an evening. We do have people from all around the world riding. Don't forget, make sure you tell your friends about the Donny Chain Gang. Make sure they go onto the Facebook page, get those links. The more riders we get, the faster it goes, the quicker it is, and the more that we are going to get riders setting PBs on the way through. And that's what we want to see. It's great for everybody. New PBs, new power thresholds, and new faster rides, new sections, new Strava personal bests out and around the course, and we see a flurry of those time and time again. So Victoria lining herself up for the gantry. She's about to go through there, and it's a little bit of a gap back then, and I think Parks, Clark and Bolt all rejoining the together, and they're going to be our last group of 3 on the way in towards the finish. So as Victoria makes her way in and underneath the UCI gantry here at Innsbruck on the World Champs course. Here the Innsbruck ring, the slightly shorter version but the same finish line as she goes in and through. We'll take a quick scoot back to the riders behind. I think it's Clark who's leading them out at the moment. Let's go up to the camera view at the moment. Yep, here we go. 3 riders all together. 3 riders out on the course. Remember, plenty of people dropping out from the event on the way around. Not everybody makes it to the finish line, never mind staying in the group. Very few people, a select group of about 15 riders up in the bunch as they went up and over the turn together, and most of the rest shelled on the climbs on the way through. The last group, though, a group of 3 away up at the front. And great to see Coyle getting the win there, just in front of Rob Copeland, and then Scott Thwaites coming in for 3rd. Scott, of course, the previous winner on the course here. So this is the final run in. It looks like Clark just starting to give a little bit of ground here to Parks. Bolt coming around the outside here. They're going to want to try and close that gap back down again. So here we go, the riders on the way in towards the finish. Clark kicking out 200 watts, 70 revs per minute at the moment. So Clark it is who we're going to follow on the way with the cam from the top. We're going to zoom our way right the way around as these riders start to come around this long sweeping left hand bend. It won't be long before they get to see the finishing gantry. Still working nicely together. So it's Parks, Clark and Bolt rotating the way in and through. So fantastic riding, everyone. Don't forget, big appeal for anyone, if you've got spare power at home, maybe you've just given up gaming on anything but Zwift in lockdown. If lockdown's over, you decide you don't need that PC anymore, you could lend it to us for a little while. And the more processing power, the smoother the images, the better we can do of bringing you all the images from the Donny Chain Gang. A big thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Grand Tour Coffee, to Halo Wheels, to Pinarello, to OTE, to Wahoo, HMT Hospitals, Mallorca Cycling, to everybody who's donated prizes. And when we get our next set of prizes, we'll let you know. The beer not on offer today, and probably no bad thing after that climb up there as our 3 riders start to come through. It's now Parks from Bolt, from Clark as they come in, still rolling the way in underneath the gantry. And with that, going to say a big thank you to everybody who's been out on the Chain Gang. Absolutely great night to see everybody out and riding. If you want to get in touch, don't forget you can get in touch with me, Matt Payne, at Facebook. It's Matt Fix the Pain on Facebook. On Twitter, you can always have a quick listen to the Crosscast, because we brought you a brand new episode of the Crosscast. I know it sounds like ages to cross, but a lot of the questions being asked if that's going to be the first event we're going to actually be racing outside, and it's certainly going to be possible. So all the news from the Crosscast, and we'll get you with a lot of the race scene as well. And don't forget, of course, you can get in touch by email, Matt at Full Speed Events, and you can get in touch. So from the Innsbruck ring, from Russ, from Dean, and from myself, Matt Payne, thank you very much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next ride.